So hello and welcome to another video of mine. This is the academic preparatory class for the further math student. So this is a full course program in which it is mainly to help students and teachers to actually help them to know the areas of concentration and how to explain all these difficult ones for their students so that they can be fully ready to actually score the A's and the A plus in the further maths Waec examination. So I am going to be taking this with respect to the fact that I am explaining the concept to teachers. And by so doing, students who are also very brilliant can also understand if you listen carefully and if you have actually watched our videos or studied the basic concept from your classroom. So what I'm saying in essence is that this video is for teachers and for those brilliant students who are ready for the exams. So I'll be taking you through how to think and how to solve the question. Maybe I will not be solving it all. I will be leaving most of them for you guys to finish up, but I will take you through the thought process. So let's get started with the first one. I think the first one is one of the most important questions you could expect for further math question under the aspect of the pure math, which is section A, solving an inequality quadratic equation. Basic things I want teachers to explain for this type of question is this. The first thing is for them to teach the student how to factorize. This is very simple to factorize. 2x squared plus x minus 6 is the same thing as 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. The inequality sign is less than 0. So basic thing here, which I want teachers to focus on, I hope all students can factorize. And if not, you can watch how to factorize AC minus 12 and 1, and you think about this. But these are basics and fundamentals of mathematics. So I don't want us to have issues with this. So now, listen to where I want the teacher to focus on. Let students understand the fact that when we are dealing with inequality quadratic equation, we always follow one thing. The lower number. Now you are comparing the numbers. This is negative 3 and this is plus 2. Between negative 3 and 2, we all know that minus 3 is less than what? Is less than 2. So the lower number of the inequality quadratic function, we always follow the sign. I think that is the only concept I would like teacher to explain to their students about this type of question, which is one of the most important concepts to solve this type of question. So that means 2x plus 3, sorry, apologies, 2x minus 3. We follow the inequality sign. The inequality sign is less than 0. Or the second one, we follow the reverse of the inequality sign. The reverse of less than is greater than 0. So on simplification, students are going to have, on simplification, this is, if you solve this, you are going to have x is less than 3 over 2. Or this is going to give you x is greater than negative 2. So this is the answer to this question. But teachers can also explain to students on how to combine inequality. This can be combined by changing this side to the other side. This greater than sign is the same thing as saying minus 2 is less than x. And the same x is less than 3 over 2. So I don't expect teachers to waste time on this. Teach them this simple quality, this simple inequality law about lower number following the sign, the higher number of inequality will follow the reverse. So let's check the B part. Now about the B part of the question, we are to express 5 minus root 2 over 10, 5 minus 2 root 10. We are dividing all this by 3 root 5 plus root 2. So we are to leave the answer in the form of m root 2 plus n root 5, where n and n are rational numbers. So the only thing I want you to focus on here, I think this is more like a pure mathematics, which they have all studied in their mathematics class. That is, when they have sort, they just have to rationalize by the conjugate of denominator. Rationalize by conjugate. of denominator. So if students understand what is called conjugate, that is the reverse of the sign of the denominator, which is minus. So they use that for both the numerator and denominator. I don't expect most of the further math students not to be able to simplify this. So basically, you can just do that, and on simplification, we can just write it for the sake of 5 minus 2 root 10. We are actually multiplying by the conjugate. The conjugate is 3 root 5 minus root 2 divided by 3 root 5 plus root 2, which was the initial value. Then the conjugate is 3 root 5 minus root 2. So on simplifying this is like more like difference of two squares, which is another thing teachers should focus on for students not to waste their time on expansion of sort. So simplifying this, how to expand, you just foil out this. You, like I said, for simplification of this, we should have something like this should give us, the numerator should give us something like, we have 19, that's 5, 15, then I'm simplifying that. Teachers will explain that. I think 19 root 5 minus, this should be 3 root 2. And this is difference of 2 square. I'll just do a square minus b square. This is 45 minus 2. 45 minus 2 will give me 43. So on simplification, I can say this is this should be 19 root 5 over 43 minus answer should be 19 root 5 over 43, then minus 3 root 2 over 43. So this is the format the examiner wants in terms of root 2 and root 3. So you can see what I'm talking about. So teachers should focus about telling students to actually read and understand question. It's one of the most important things. Root 5 should come 5, root 2 should come first. So that means I am to write in this format. Minus 3 root 2 over 43, then plus 19 root 5 over 43. So this is the format Waec we accept, and that is the solution for the first round. So guys, let's check the next question. The next question should be page 2. And let's see page 2. Fine. Now, page 2. The question we have before us is solve the simultaneous equations. Log x base 2, please. This should be log, the base of this should be 2, x on top, minus log y, then 2 is equals to 2. And the same thing works for the second equation. I think should be log base of 2, x minus 2y is equals to 3. So this is the format the question actually is supposed to be. Now solving this should not be a problem. So teachers should please guide their students on how to solve log questions. For the math question, pure mathematics side, are going to ask students about log. And most of the log questions are going to be majorly focused on those that has relationship with indices. Those that has relationship with indices, that is log. So teachers should teach students more about the relationship between logarithms and indices. Log A argument A base B is equals to C can be expressed, so students should focus more on this, as A is equals to B raised to power C. That is, A argument is equals to base raised to the power of the right hand side. So this is the law or the logic students or teachers should try and explain to their student, so that most of the question that comes in log form would be very easy for students to attempt. Not forgetting the fact that they should also note that what the elementary mathematics log rule of negative or minus is division and plus is multiplication. Look at the first one. So simplifying the first one, you can say just pick because the bases are the same. Like I said, I'm not going to be finishing. This is x over y is equals to 2. It has taken the format of argument base on the right hand side, which is what I want it us to focus on. Then the second equation is already in that format. X minus 2y is the argument. The base is 2. And the right hand side is 3. So obeying the law, this will give you x over y is equals to 2 raised to power 2 from this simple law, which is 4. And obeying the law here is x minus 2y is equals to 2 raised to power 3, which is 8. So simplifying the two equations simultaneously, I don't expect teachers or most of our students that we are taking, I am also a teacher, to have issues with simultaneous equation, especially those who are doing further mathematics. So basically, this can be simplified by getting the values of x and y. So you can say x is equals to 4y for cross multiplication. And directly you can substitute that here. That is 4y minus 2y. That is 2y is 8. So y is equals to 4. Then x is equals to 4 times 4. That is 16. So please, teachers should focus on this simple log living rule. And please make sure the students understand the basis of algebra for them to be able to solve questions like this. So we move to the third one. So the third question, take the third question, fine. Now about the third question, I think we are having a quadratic equation, which we also talk about. So here we have if the quadratic equation x plus 1 in bracket and also x plus 2 in bracket is equals to k open brackets 3x plus 7 as equal root. Find the possible value of the constant k. Now, still on quadratic equations, please, teachers should please do focus on quadratic equation questions because it's definitely going to come out in the compulsory section. And about this type of question, talking about equal root and perfect square, I think this is where they should be well trained in understanding the concept of quadratic function from their mathematics class and talking about the discriminant, which I think is popular. Equal root are also perfect squares. So if a quadratic function is having a perfect square, the rule that holds for them is that the b square must always be equals to 4ac. It's very important. So, and a quadratic equation is basically going to have two solutions. So the graphical aspect is also important because this is further math. So teacher can also make sure they focus on that and explain that to their students. So discriminant, we're going to talk about real root, equal root, perfect square, and imaginary root, which I believe we must have also explained to most of our students because this is for them. So this is kind of easy because the general form of a quadratic function is always in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, which is equals to 0. And this is how we come about this, which most of the teacher might have explained in classroom on the derivation. But I don't think the further maths requirement, we ask students on the derivation, and if they ask that, they can use their knowledge of sum and product of roots to actually demystify that. So basically, we can take that. So you know the importance of A. Students should tell them what A actually means when you're drawing the graph because it is further math. That is, it's going to smile, or when I say the U curve or the inverted U curve, which is the N curve. So A, it's used to determine the shape of the curve. If it is going to be the U and the N, teachers can talk more about that. Then B is talking about the slope, and C is more like the intercept of the what of the quadratic graph. So teachers can also explain briefly on how to write the quadratic equation in the other form, which we call the Vattis form. For some direct question in the objective, I'm going to ask them on simple things on this and the line of symmetry of a quadratic equation. So having said that, I don't think this one should give the student any problem because what they are expected to do is just to expand and collect like times. This is very easy to expand. On expansion of this one, I don't expect students to have any problem. This is going to give them, that's starting from the left-hand side. This is x times s is x squared. This is plus 3x. That is plus 3x plus 2. And if they expand the right-hand side, this is 3ks plus 7k. So they can rearrange. On rearranging this should give them something like x squared. Then we have plus the one that has k and s can be brought together. Then when you factorize, there should be 3 minus 3k. Then x is outside. I am factorizing. I've brought this to that side. Then plus 2 minus 7k is equals to 0. So it has taken the format of ax squared, you can see, and plus bx plus c. So which is what you guys want to do. So you want it to look like this so that you would be able to continue to solve. Then the formula we said for equal and perfect square is b squared is equals to 4ac. So when you substitute b squared is equals to 4ac, you will be able to put the value of k. So b here, you can see coefficient of x is p. And this is 3 minus 3k all squared must be equals to 4 multiplied by a is the coefficient of x squared. Here it is 1. And c is this one. It is 2 minus 7k. So on substitution, when you expand this fella, you are going to have, this should give us 9 minus, this is 9 minus 18k plus 9k squared. I hope students can do that. So 4 times 2 is 8 minus 28k. So that is 8 minus 28k. Collection of line terms and arranging this to give us a quadratic equation of this is 9k squared plus 10k plus 1. So this is what we are going to have. Then on simplifying this, we can factorize. So factorizing this should give us 9k plus 1. Everything is plus. Then this is k plus 1. So equals to 0. We need to forget that. It's very important. So getting the final answer from this, guys. So the final answer from here would be equals to k equals to negative 1 over 9. Or k is equals to negative. The two answers are very, very important because a quadratic equation is generally going to have two solutions. So it is what is important for teachers to understand and to bring it in the simple form or simplest form for their students so that they can also be able to do it on their focus more factorization. I think a further math student should be able to factorize without any further problem. So we go to 4. Fine, 4. This is trigonometric question. So dear students and teachers, you should be well informed that in further math question, trigonometry are very, very important, and you should try as much, dear teacher should try as much as to bring the concept of trigonometric identities for students to understand. In this question, we are only dealing with tan. Here we are given tan 2a is equals to 2 tan a all over 1 minus tan 2a. So the examiner says we should evaluate tan 15 degrees. So evaluating tan 15 degrees, students should be very careful to follow the line of the question, which says you are to leave your answers in short form. So tan 15 degrees, you are to follow the line of the question, please. You are not to start saying tan 15 is simply as saying tan A minus B, tan 45 minus tan 30. Yes, this is not the line of the question. This is very wrong. What the examiner wants is for you to use what was given as a form of substitution into the question. So please, teacher, please do tell your student to actually follow the line of question. Over satisfaction or complacency might actually cause negative marking or to reduce their mark. So they should follow the line of the question. So what we expected is just to substitute. And doing that one, you can just say this is tan 2a will be tan 2 times 15 is now equals to 2 to bracket tan 15 all over 1 minus tan 2 times 15. So this is what the examiner actually wants. So on simplification, we can say 2 times 15, everybody knows is going to be tan 30 is equals to 2 times 15. Please, students should be careful that you cannot say 2 times 15 is tan 30. So it will be 2 tan 15 divided by 1 minus 2 times 15 is tan 30. I hope students understand this. This should not be tan 2, it should be tan square A from trigonometric identity. So I think there's an error. So let me try and adjust that error. Because tan A plus B is tan A plus tan B all over 1 minus tan A tan B. So this will be tan square A. So it is tan square and not tan 2. So if that is the case here, it will also change something here. This should be tan square 15. So please be careful about that. And tan square 15 is what you are expected to write here. This is tan square 15. So now what you will do here is just to cross multiply. I hope students know the trigonometric identity for tan 30. So that is root 3 over 3, or you say 1 over root 3. I believe further students should have knowledge of that from their mathematics. So that is equals to, if I cross multiply, 2 tan 15. They are dividing this with 1 minus tan square 15. So from cross multiplication, we can conclude. Let me make a bisection here. So for us to have space, and when you cross multiply, 1 multiplied anything will be 1 minus tan square 15 is equals to, I'm not supposed to be doing this. This is 2 root 3 plus 2 multiplied by root 3 is 2 root 3, then tan 15. So this is it, and this is what the examiner actually wants to test you guys. So this will lead to a quadratic equation. You know you are looking for tan 15. So you can use your knowledge of this is where it matters most, of what you call I think from your mathematics knowledge, you call it what do you even call it then? They call it exponential equation, something like that. So you bring another alphabet to represent a particular function. So here you can say let y equals to tan 15 so that you can reduce it. I hope you still remember this from your exponential equation stuff. So this will be 1 minus y squared is equals to 2 root 3y. So this has led to a quadratic equation which you can rearrange. And if you rearrange that, you can say it is the same as saying y squared. I'm rearranging plus 2 root 3y. Then you say minus 1 is equals to 0. What I did is I moved this to the right hand side, where this is already at the right hand side. I'm moving this also to give me a quadratic equation, which is going to give me two solutions. So the most important thing I think I need to talk about here is that you solve this using your knowledge of quadratic formula. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So if you have solved this like this, you are going to have two answers, which I think you can all bring out. A is 1, B is 2, 3, and C is negative. You remember y is tan 15, which is what you are looking for. So you don't need to revert or put back your answer into a recall. That's what, no. The question asks you to look for tan 15. So simplifying this one, I'm very sure if you put that, I can quickly do that to give you negative 2 root 3 plus or minus square root of this is 2 root 3 all square minus 4 times 1 times negative 1. We are dividing all the answer by 2 times 1, which is 2. So on simplification, I am going to take another color. On simplification, this will give me nothing but, everything here will give me nothing but 12 plus 4. This is 12 minus times minus that's 16. 12 plus 4 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So I'm going to have something like minus 2 root 3 plus or minus 4/2. So which, if I simplify, it should be minus 2 root 3 plus 4/2 or minus 2 root 3 minus 4/2. I hope students understand that. Minus 2 root 3 plus 4/2 or minus 2 root 3 minus 4/2, which student can simplify. And if you are doing that well, simplifying this is, you can see 2 is common, so you can factorize out 2. You're not supposed to be showing this, but let me show it for the sake of understanding. So showing that is a minus 2, or you say 2 basically. 2 is common. I'm doing this first. That is a minus root 3. That is a minus, or you say minus 2, then root 3, then minus 2. As minus times minus will give you that. Or the other one is same thing. If you bring minus 2 outside, this is root 3, and this will be you plus 2/2. So this gets cancelled out, this gets cancelled out. You know what I mean? This is a negative value, whereby this is a positive value. So you have to be careful. So I am not going to go, this is going to give me, this answer is going to give me minus 3 minus root 3 minus root 3, then minus times minus plus 2. And this is going to give me minus root 3 minus root 2. So if you follow the line of the question, minus root 3 plus root 2 minus root 3 minus root 2. So the two answers are correct, but recall that you are looking for tan 15 degree, which is the same thing as y. Then the answer can be y is equals to, this can be rearranged. This is 2 minus root 3, or y equals to minus root 3 minus root 2. So remember, tan 15 will always be positive at the first quadrant. That's the only thing I think I need to talk about here. So, and that is why only this answer will be valid. So be careful about that. If you have written the two, as an examiner too, we are going to mark it. But in some technical question, which is objective, you have to know that in the first quadrant, all is opposite. So we go to the next one. The next question. The next question is the probability of Rotel obtaining the highest marks in mathematics, physics, and biology tests are 0.9, 0.75, and 0.8 respectively. Calculate the probability of getting the highest mark in at least 2 subjects. So I think this is also a little bit of pure mathematics question. And because it is pure mathematics question, we can use that knowledge about pure mathematics to solve this question without wasting time. So teachers should focus on probability question and let students understand the meaning of at least and at most, because of the aspect of combinatoric probability, which we are still going to talk about in some other 12 questions when we are through with the pure mathematics set. So at least simply means greater than or equals to, whereby at most means less than or equals to. So that's the basic things Waec do test. So if you are talking about 3 subjects, so you can just try to understand, you are looking for the probability of getting highest mark in at least 2 subjects. That is getting highest mark and not getting highest mark. So we can take probability of each of them. I'm not going to finish this because I believe of getting in our physics is 0.9 as getting highest. So the probability of not getting highest in physics, I write it as prime, will now be 1 minus 0.9, which is 0.1. I hope students still remember this. In the same manner, I'm going to do for biology. Probability of having highest in biology, I'll take biology as B, was given to be 0.75. So probability of not having highest in biology, let it as B prime, attack that as 0.25 because I have subtracted 1. from occurring. So the last one also, so teacher should lay emphasis on these two. The last subject here is wow. I think the first subject was mathematics, and this is mathematics prime, and this one is physics, is respectively, and this is physics prime. Apologies for that. And the last subject is biology. Highest was probability 0.8. So not highest in that will be biology prime. This is physics. So that is 0.2. So this is the first step you need. Then combining them together as a whole will be the next step, which I think we all can do without wasting time. And if we have issues with that, you can meet your teacher because these are teacher's guide, which they will definitely help you to get the answer to this stuff. So basically, the combination should have been at least two subjects. That means pass two, then fail the third one, or score highest in the two rather, and fail the third. Score highest in two and not in the third one. So you can take it in different form. You can take it in different form. For example, I can take the first one. Look at this. Highest in the first, that's 0.1 is 0.1 times. I can do it in three different ways. So we can always keep that in mind in three different ways. So in at least two subjects can be highest in mathematics, highest in mathematics, highest in physics, but not highest in biology. I can do it in another way, highest in mathematics, highest in biology, but not highest in physics. And I can also do it highest in physics, highest in biology, but not highest in mathematics. So we can always do that and form our trade. So if I go with that, if you have followed what I have just said now, you are going to have something like, if we go by the first one, is 0.9 times 0.75 multiplied by not highest in the third one as 0.2 plus the other way around, highest in physics, highest in biology. So that is 0.75 times 0.8, but not highest in mathematics, 0.1. And the third way I talked about, the third way can be highest in maths, highest in biology. In math is 0.9, biology is 0.8, and not physics is 0.25. So when you punch this on your calculator, oh, remain one place. I said at least. At least means greater than or equals to. So it can be highest in two subjects and lowest in one subject, or it can be highest in the three subjects. That is also very, very important. So please note that. So because I said it can be greater than or equals to 2. So it is greater than or equals to 2. So Rote can ask the highest mark in mathematics, physics, and also biology. So the last one that we had is 0.9 times 0.75 times 0.8. So please, these are the way. Greater than or equals to means 2 and above. So these are for two subjects. So it can be above the 2, which is all the 3, is also inclusive. So if you punch calculator for this, which I'm trying to do, and if you do it well, you are going to have the 0.915. So we did the question answer. So please be careful about these two. These are some kind of questions you might come across during your examination of follow mathematics. So the next question. Question 6. Now, about question 6, we have a student representative council consists of 8 girls and 6 boys. If an editorial board consisting of 5 persons is to be chosen. So that means we are talking about combination now because of the word choosing. So teachers should please explain the concept of combinations and permutations to their students. And please focus also on combinatoric probability because there is no escaping route for that in Waec for the maths. You will definitely come up across that. So combinations are selections basically, and permutations are arrangements. So basic concept, you can always tell students to identify that. Then they should know the simple general formula of representing combination as n choose r is n factorial over n minus r factorial And also understand n peak r, which we call permutation, is n factorial over n minus r factorial. So teachers should please remind students of this simple formula because it's going to be important to solve a lot of questions. So here we are only picking 5 persons out of 8 boys, 8 girls and 6 boys. So it's probability, you can say, using probability to explain combinatoric. So which is what I'm talking about here. You have to explain to your students from the knowledge of their probability, which is always required outcome, which they have gathered or which they have learned in their mathematics class, required outcome over total outcome. Is it possible outcome over total outcome? So now, what they just need to do is to understand that the total outcome of what we have here is that we have 8 girls and 6 boys. So students should be very, very careful about selection. I can do this in 2 ways, but I think it's using the knowledge of combination will be better because we are selecting. So out of 8 girls and 6, but we want to form a board of 5, which contains 3 girls and 2 boys. So I am only selecting out of 8 girls. I am choosing that selection, that is combination, choosing 3 girls, and which is multiplication. Out of 6 boys, I am choosing how many boys, please? I'm choosing 2. You can see that the board is 5 in total. So, but the total outcome, which is the most important thing, is this. Out of here, we have a combination of how many of them do we have here? We have 8 girls and 6 boys. 8 plus 6 are 14. Out of 14 altogether, we want to choose how many? I want to choose 5. So that is the required outcome of so on simplification, students should be able to do this. Please learn that this is theory. Your calculator, the Waec calculator is allowed, and you can easily press HC3, the division sign. When you press the shift, it's going to give you this. So if you do this very well, you are going to have, this should give you 15, and that 15 times this should give you 840 divided by 14, choose 5. 14 combination 5 directly, you can just do it. Please note that it is a theory question. This is 2002. So reducing this to the lowest term, we are getting 60 over 143, which is the answer to this question. So I think the question has a B part. So let's solve the B part also together before we move to the next question. The B part says either all girls or all boys. We are still selecting 5 persons. That is, either all of them are girls or all of them are boys. The same formula, probability is always required outcome over total outcome. Remember, this is a full course program. It's going to be a lengthy video. So, but if you can watch it to the end, I can tell you all what is needed for you to pass your further maths are contained in this video series. So the required outcome in this case is, if you are taking out of 8 girls, you are taking all of them to be all the 5, each choose 5. And or we said or you can say all girls, or that is why I'm using plus. All boys, there are 6 boys. 6, we are choosing all of them. So over the total outcome, we know the total outcome from here. 14 combination 5 or 14 choose 5. So simplifying this one, punch your calculator. Finally, you are going to have 31 over 100. I'm using the natural display here, and that is why I am able to tell the answer without delay. So please, that is that about that. So the next question should be question number 6. So let's move to question 6. So the next question, we have the coordinates. I hope we have not missed a question. Okay, fine. We have the coordinates of the vertices of triangle A, B, C, are. A is -2 and 1, B is 4 and -2, and C is 1 and 8 respectively. So we are told that if D, which has a coordinate of x and y, is the foot of the perpendicular from A to BC, we have to find the equation connecting x and y, and also we have to find the unit vector of the unit vector in the direction of BC. So for understanding's sake, this teacher should remember to explain to students on some important concepts with triangles and equations of line, because I think this year there's no green area. We cannot escape that particular aspect of triangles and equation of lines and coordinate geometry as a whole. So let me just draw the triangle. Let me make it to sit down. Triangle not drawn to scale, just for the sake of understanding. So that is that about the triangle. So we are given coordinates, and we take my triangle A, B, and C. So each of them are having coordinates. A is having coordinate of -2 and 1. B is having coordinate of 4 and -2. Whereas C is having coordinate of 1, 8. I think it is kind of simple. So from what you've learned from your mathematics knowledge under the geometry, you were told that triangle depends on 2 things, its base and height. So area of triangle depends on 2 things, the base and height. So when we bring a line, interior angle bisector, from this point of A, which is the top of the triangle, to bisect the base, such line bisector is called perpendicular bisector. I think we might have studied that as well. So perpendicular bisector is that, and we know what that means. So it's angle bisector, you know what I mean. So bisect the side, so we can use a shortcut, which I think your teachers might have explained. So teacher, please do endeavor to explain the concept behind or the rationale behind interior angle bisector. It's bisect, and what the sides are going to be in ratio. You know what I mean? Like if this guy is taken to be, we are told that the perpendicular bisector is from A to BC. So I call that D. According to the question, I didn't show it, and it was X and Y. So basically, what I'm trying to say from our knowledge of this, we can say BD over DC equals to AB over AC. That's the theorem of perpendicular or interior angle bisector, which I want teacher to lay more emphasis on, because questions are definitely coming from there. So once we find the connection between X and Y, we can just go by our simplest way of understanding the gradient, of these 2 points, BC. So if you get the gradient of BC, I think you can calculate the formula connecting X and Y without any problem. Get the gradient of BC. You can get the gradient of C and D as well. So, which we know is from the midpoint. Another way, you can calculate the distance between the 2 points and look for the midpoint of this and form equation. I'm only looking for the fastest way, which I think it's getting a gradient. Getting the gradient of BC. Teacher should lay more emphasis on gradient of a line. So gradient of BC now, of line BC gradient, is delta y over delta x, which you say change in y by changing x, y2 minus y. I hope students are very, very good in that. That's 8 minus minus 2. That is 10 over, please, I'm doing line BC, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have I with 10 over minus 3 here. This is minus 3. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So that is the gradient of that. Then I can also calculate the gradient of this, or CD, anyhow you call it. Is it CD or DC? The gradient of line CD. If I want to set equation between them, gradient is always y2 minus y1. So what I'm trying to do from symmetry, I can set a kind of relationship now to actually get now the gradient of line DC. This gradient of line DC from symmetry, the gradient of line DC is the same thing as the gradient of line BC. So I think that would be the fastest way from symmetry, which teachers can also explain why this is working. And if you are the third, I want to do it one by one, you can get distance between the 2 points here and get the midpoint of this and the midpoint anyhow you want to do it. But let it be known that this is just perpendicular bisector. You have to keep it in mind. So what I want to use here is the concept which I expect teacher to have explained about perpendicular bisector, talking about distribution of gradients m1, m2 is equals to minus 1, perpendicular gradient, when lines are perpendicular to each other. So I hope teachers have explained that to their students, and if they have done that, so I don't think there should be a problem in understanding what I have done here. So I said I have used, and when they are parallel, you guys know the gradients are definitely going to be equal. Some teachers love writing this equation in form of a new gradient is equals to minus 1 over the old gradient. It's still the same thing. So please, we can keep that all about the payment. So here we can just say the gradient of this one would be CD will be 8 minus y, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, x2 is 1 minus x. So if I set it equal to this one, this is minus 10 over 3 is equals to 8 minus y over 1 minus x. So I cross multiply as on simplification, I should be able to get the equation that connects x and y. If I do this well, it's minus 10 plus x, that is 10x, and this is 24 minus 3y. So that is plus 10, that's 34, that is plus 3y minus 34 is equals to 0. Be the answer to this, and that is what you are expected to do according to Waec. So teachers should concentrate on that. There are other ways you can do this, like I said, perpendicular bisector. You can always keep that at the back. So the line here is a perpendicular bisector. So if you want to use A and C, you can use it also with any you want to. But I'm only going with the line in which this is going from, because the line is a parabola. So now the next is B. I think B asks us to find something like vector form. Okay, the unit vector in the direction of BC. That is by BC. BC is here. Unit vector. The definition of unit vector, teachers should concentrate on explaining the basic concept of vector, which I think they should also might have studied in the concept of in the physics concept. For the science, for the math students, I think this shouldn't be a problem. So unit vector is always vector over its magnitude. Let me just write it like this. So unit vector, if we are saying a vector is a unit vector, I can say A cap equals to the vector of A over the magnitude of A. So that is the way we relate that. But in this case, let's just do something that is simple if we are looking for it in terms of, let's say, the unit vector in the direction of BC. Please, where is BC? Good. This is BC. So we need to get it in the direction of BC. So let us be guided on what we are supposed to do here. So to do this one, the vector over its own magnitude. So let's draw a triangle. Let me draw again. I have to draw. So for understanding's sake, yes, I'm drawing out the triangle. So please, teachers should lay more emphasis on this type of question too, because now the unit vector of BC, let's calculate the distance between 2 points from B to C. That is the first thing I'm going to do, which I believe you guys might have studied also in your unit. And that is why the first part, if you have followed that way to get the equation between X and Y, we wouldn't be stressing ourselves. Do you understand? But notwithstanding, we can still go with this. So the distance between 2 points B and C is just what I need. So if I want the distance between 2 points B and C, I should be able to do that. Distance between 2 points formula, you should guys to remember, should be square root of y2 minus y1 all squared plus x2 minus x1 all squared. So I want to do that vector over its magnitude. I told you it's vector over its magnitude. Please note that. So now, when we say the unit vector, we are looking for the unit vector in the direction of BC. In the direction of BC. So the distance between the point from its source of origin is what we call the unit vector of the point. So for example, let me make this diagram more sense. So if I say this is point O, the origin, distance from O to B and the distance of O to C. That is what we need to do. So in this case, we can just try and form a kind of relationship in terms of triangle and use our symmetry knowledge to what demystify. So if we say the distance of a vector from its origin is called its position vector. So the position vector of this guy is what I want to calculate now from the origin O to B. And from this, I'm using the vector addition stuff, or what we call vector addition and subtraction stuff, which you might have learned from your teachers. Please, teachers should also lay more emphasis on this, which I think is very important for all teachers to keep in mind. So let's do this together. It is very simple to understand the fact that we are talking about distance from the point of origin. So this one is, if I write it in vector form, one is the same thing as saying I, or you say 1I, then J is the same that J, we call X and Y, we call it as IJK vector because we are writing in terms of unit vector. They should be in form of the I's and the J's. So I, this is plus 8 is the same as 8J. So if we want to write this now, this is 4I, this is minus 2J. Please note that. So now, so from symmetry, you can say from this line now, BC is equals to the first one here. I'm taking from the point of what distance from what C to the point of origin, C to O, then O to B. So you can say it's opposite direction. A negative vector is a vector of equal length but different direction. C to O, then O to B now. So it will be vector of C, this is I, plus 8J. I'm subtracting that from the vector of this is 4I, that is minus 2J. Please note that. Is this minus in the question? But we have to be careful. That is a minus 2J. So minus minus, we turn that one to plus. You guys know what I mean. On simplification, this is minus 3I. 8 plus 2 is going to give you plus 10J. So this is the position vector from the point of origin of what? Of BC. If I take it from origin. So if I take the magnitude of these two, I don't think I should have any problem. I told you unit vector is the vector itself over its magnitude. So the vector is what I have done here. And the vector itself is this, which is a negative 3i plus 10j over the magnitude of a vector. Teacher should lay more emphasis on that too. Magnitude of vector BC will be equals to square root of minus 3i, the square of minus 3i, and that of 10. So that is like square root of 9 plus 100 is 109. So please note that 109. Fine. So magnitude of the vector is 109. So this is the position. This is the unit vector answer. It's always vector divided by the magnitude. So what I have done here, I can also do this in another way. I only try to take the position vector from the distance. Position vector is taken as what? The distance from a point of origin. So I'm taking O as a point of origin. So, and you can see the movement of this triangle. So I said distance from C to O and distance from this to this. So, and that is why I was able to understand that this particular vector, you can do it in any way you want to write it. The one of O to B, you can see is 4i minus 2j. I've just explained how to write the I and there. And from the origin to C, I take origin to C, that is I plus 8j. So, and that is what I have done. I just use symmetry to get the value of the vector from my called vector addition and vector subtraction. That is what I used. So I hope students understand this, and those are the answers to the two questions. And this type of question are also one of the most important questions you are going to face. We move to the next question. So that's question 8. So this is also continuation of the vector. So teachers should lay more emphasis on explaining vector concepts to students. I have some videos available on my physics page, was the academic physics channel. I talked about all what you need to know about vector. I think it's just about 6 or 6.5 video, all concepts. You can watch that as well if you don't have the full knowledge of vector. So we solve this one in sequence. The position vector of a body with respect to the point of origin. I told you, position vector is always taken from a from a source of origin. Is given as the position vector, our position vector is given as writing 4ti in terms of vector notation plus, it's like saying 4t plus, but it is in vector form, 40i cap plus, that's even the way we call it, 12 minus 3t j, I'll say j cap. So at any time in T, so this is displacement time graph. So teachers should please focus on the mechanics aspect of further maths. That is the one that deals with physics, especially for the commercial students and some math students that love further mathematics. For them to understand the concept of the kinematics and the dynamics aspect, which is the vector aspect. So differentiation to differentiate, and the reverse of that, which is called the integration, because that is also a very good way you can actually help them rather than following the graph way or wasting time on doing all these long method stuff. So they can actually concentrate on the simple aspect of it, which is what I am trying to say here. So let them understand that displacement time, when you differentiate displacement time, velocity vector is displacement time. So, and when they integrate velocity time, you are going to get the displacement. These are very important. Acceleration also, you can also let them know that when they differentiate acceleration, they are going to, acceleration is when they differentiate velocity time graph, or when they integrate the acceleration time graph, which is also v dv by dx. But for basic knowledge, this is just what I think they need to know, that they can reverse back and they can also differentiate. Integration is just the opposite of differentiation. So basically, this question asks at any time t, we have to find the velocity. You can say distance and time, displacement time. When you differentiate, you are going to get the velocity. So you can say the v vector, just like what I did, vector quantity, is equals to displacement is written as r here by dt. So all what student need to do in this A part, is to differentiate. So that means differentiating the r by dt now. Can continue from this side will be equals to the r. This is our 4t, and that is our, when you differentiate that, it's very simple to do this. I hope students were taught on how to differentiate. This is going to give you 4t will give you 4i. I'm differentiating with respect to t. I is taken to be like a constant, so it remains there. And also the same thing to j. I'm differentiating 12 minus 3t. 12 we go. I differentiate the constant is 0. This is minus 3j. And this is the answer for the first question, because we are asked to find the velocity. So just what you have to write is just the r by dt is now 4i minus 3d, which is what the examiner actually wants. So find the velocity of the body. Done. So the examiner now says we should calculate the magnitude of the displacement between t is equals to 0 and t equals to 5. That means we are to look the b part now. You can see sometimes further mass is just a normal simple math. The displacement equation was given as 4ti plus 12 minus 3tj. So if you look at this, you are substituting. The values are given. We have something like limit from t equals to 0 to t equals to 5. When we get that, let's do something. When r is equals to, remember we are looking for magnitude. We've talked about the formula for magnitude of any vector is the square of the I plus that of the square root of the i's and that of the j. This teacher should teach students about calculating magnitude of a vector. They should understand it to the level of cosine and the sine rule, or to the aspect of parallelogram and polygon law of vectors, for them to have their full marks. So here we can say this is when I substitute. The first one is when t is equals to 0. I'm not going to waste time. Everybody knows this guy is going to get cancelled out. If we do that, we are going to get from here r will be equals to 12. I have substituted t equals to 0. This is 0. 12 minus 0, that's 12. And that is why I'm writing 12. So the next one I'm going to do is when t is equals to 5. When t is equals to 5, I'm substituting on the same equation of the displacement time graph that was given, plus 12 minus 3t. So when t is equals to 5, which is the second point that I was given, let's do this together. I'm going to have 4 times this 20i, then 3 times 5, 15, that's minus 3j. So the displacement between the two will now be when it is 5 minus when it is. So the displacement from t equals to 0 and t equals to 5, displacement r will now be equals to the difference between these two. That will be 20 when it was 5, 20i minus 3j, then minus 12. Is it minus 12 or minus 12i? I think minus 12. Is it minus 12i or minus 12j? I is 0. This is minus 12j. I substitute 0 here, please. So 12j. So 12j, please. So here, r is now equals to 20i minus 15j. So now the magnitude of this, which is written like this, is now square root of the i's, the square of I, plus that of j. So which on simplification, 20 squared is 400, 15 squared is 225. They give us a square root of 625, which is a perfect square, and that is 25. Is the distance in meter? We told in the question, hopefully with us 20 units. Well, 25 units, rather. So far, I can't see if the value is in meter or in centimeter. So I will just write 25 units as the correct answer to these questions. I hope we understand this. So please, teacher should kindly help students to understand some basic concept of differentiation under the vector explanation, and for them to know unit vector, magnitude of vector, and the position vector. These are things that can be done by teacher in an hour's class, because you only want to focus on what you expect them to work on. So the next question will be question 9. Now, about question 9, we have the third and the sixth term of a GP, which is geometric progressions, are 2 and 54. Fine. They are 2 and 54. That means respectively means the third term of a GP. I hope students has learned this from their teacher, that GP has an nth term of AR n minus 1. It's quite important because this, I'm not going to simplify, because I believe you should be able to do that. So if you say the third term is written as AR to the power of 2, and that was given to be 2. And if you say the sixth term, when n is 6, that is AR raised to the power 5, that is given by 54. To solve this one, you divide 2 by 1, and if you divide that, A will get cancelled out. You have R raised to power 3 is 54 over 2 is going to give you 27. I know teachers have done it, there are lots in mathematics, and also in further maths to explain the aspect of GP, APN, harmonic sequence, and so on and so forth. So here you can say R is equals to 3, and I've taken cube root of both sides. And on substitution, you get A 3 raised to power 2. I'm substituting here 9 is 2, then A is 2 over 9. So from that, we were able to do common ratio and first term. Common ratio is 3, first term is 2 about 9. So the third one says we are to look for the sum of the first 10 terms correct to the nearest whole number. The sum of a GP, you have to consider two things. Is R less than 1 or R greater than 1? This has been taught by most of your teachers in school. And the formula we use is Sn when R is greater than 1, because it is 3. Is A, you open a bracket, R is power n minus 1 over R minus 1. So teachers can also touch the aspect of sum of GP to infinity, which also I know in their mathematics they have been taught. So here, simplification, just substitute. You're looking for the sum of the first 10 times. It means your n is equals to 10. I hope students understand. Your A and R answers are there. Substitute that value, and you are going to get your answer. So that is how to do that. I don't want to also waste time with that. So if you want to substitute, you can say A is 2 over 9. You have R is 3 raised to power 10 minus 1 over 3 minus 1 is 2. You can cut 2 over 9 times 2. That's 1 over 9 times this. On simplification to the nearest number, I'm using my natural display now. This is going to give me nothing but, just hope this as a definite answer. Yeah, 2 raised to power 9. Then on simplification, I think this is quite easy for us to do, everybody. 65, 61. So that is what the calculator is giving. So the last question for this part is the B part of the question. So for me to do that, well, let me just make a. So the B part. About the B part of the question, we are told that the ratio of the coefficient of x, that is another important factor topic. Please, teachers should kindly do revision on binomial expansion for students, please. Binomial expansion is also very important. And please, binomial expansion and some shortcuts that will help students to get our coefficients directly without expanding and continuing to expand and wasting the sheet of paper. That one should be taught by teachers as well. So in this question, we are to find the ratio of the coefficient. We are told that the ratio of the coefficient of s to the fourth power to that of s to the third power in the binomial expansion of 1 plus 2x raised to power n is 3:1. Find the value of n. So we are told that 1 plus 2x raised to power n has its fourth power coefficient over the third power coefficient to be equals to 3:1. 3:1 is 3/1. I hope you have been taught that. So let me use the knowledge of binomial expansion, which I believe teachers might have explained for some of you that you are very good in further maths. And for those of you that you are yet to understand binomial expansion, you can actually meet your teacher or you watch the video online about it. I have some series of binomial expansion videos on my maths channel as well. So you can just do this directly because you are talking about this is 1 here. We can say the coefficient of the fourth power directly can be from binomial expansion should be n, because the power here is n, logic-wise. That is n minus 1, n minus 2, then n minus 3. Then this is the coefficient here, 2 raised to power. Which power are we looking for? 2 raised to power 4 divided by the fourth power, that is 4 factorial. That is the shortcut. Then you can also go get for the third one in terms of the n. That is n, oh, not fifth, third. Apologies, n. It will be n minus 1, n minus 2. Then they have that is also 2 raised to power 3. Well, this is 2 to the third power over 3 factorial. So that's just what we're expected to do. Then it is quite easy. Instead of you wasting time trying to expand and expand, these are short qualify. If you are looking for coefficient of the fifth power like this, just follow the process to be n so far. So n can be, this formula is very good for the binomial expansion. And that is why teacher can do a quick revision for students on how to do this directly without wasting time to get coefficient of any power in terms of n and in terms of the power when they have what where they are going to. So this is very good for them to learn, and it will aid their pace and also increase their score. So here we are saying when we divide the fourth by the third one, we are getting, you can see the relationship we want to set. I'm not supposed to finish this, we finish that. So when we divide n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, and 2 raised to power 4 is 16. We are dividing it over 4 factorial. We are dividing it by, that's the division here, n minus 1, n minus 2, 2 raised to power 3 is 8, all over 3 factorial. So when it's times, this go up and this come down, everybody knows. So on simplification, we have, I can cancel a lot of things because I don't want to waste time. This gets cancelled out. This gets cancelled out. And say 8 here 1, 8 here 2. I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. Because when I turn this one to division, all those things have cancelled out, I should show you. This is it, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, multiplied by 16 over 4 factorial, which is 4 times 3 times 2 times 3 factorial over n minus 1, n minus 2 times 8. So I have cancelled these guys. So I only have n minus 3, 16 now. I can also make 3 factorial. I know the value for 3 factorial. Let me continue that in this small space. So if I want to factorize this, I'm having something like nothing is here. When I cross multiply now, this is n minus 3. 16 is equals to 3 factorial times 4 factorial. So that is 4 factorial is 24. 3 factorial is 6. 24 times 6. I hope students are following. It's 144. So here you can divide both sides by 16. I hope we are there. So because it is important we have it. So please check if there's no error. 3 factorial is 3 times 2, that's 6 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2, 24. I multiply 24 times 6, 24 to 6, and that's 144. So please, let's understand what I'm doing. I have cross multiplied here. So on simplification now, we should be able to get the answer. So this should give us nothing but, this gets cancelled out. N minus 3 is equals to, can 16 divide, hopefully I didn't make mistake, can 16 divide, I don't think I have 16 again. I think I have 2. Because I have cancelled 8 here 1, 8 here 2. So I don't know why I'm still using 8 here 1, 8 here 2. So this guy should have been 2. Sorry about that. So maybe I'll leave it for you guys to finish. Or I should probably finish it. So this is oh, that is 2 into bracket n minus 3. 2 into bracket n minus 3. Trying to do something. Wow. I did actually solve this thing right from the outset. I think I have a slight error, but the error is not that big. It is the coefficient of this one over this one is equals to 4 over 3. All I've done is here should be equated to 4 over 3, which is what I did not do. You can see this over this is equals to, I say 4 over 3, 3 over 1. So there should be something like 3 over 1 here. So, but all the same, it's not the end of the world. So let me see what I have at this side. This side, everything is equals to 3 over 1. So that is why if sometimes if you are managing space. So now fine, it's simple, we can still do it. So we can say from here now, before we come to 3 over 1 and cross multiply, all what we have here after cutting is everything here, I have 2 open brackets, n minus 3 times 3 factorial is 3 times 2, 6. Over what I have under everything is a corner. I only have 24 is equals to 3 over 1. That is what I'm having. So we can solve anyway. 2 times 6 is 12. So 12 here 1, 12 here 2. Everything here is 2. So this is just saying 6. So n minus 3 is equals to, I have cross multiply 3 times 2 is 6. N equals to 6 plus 3. N equals to 9 is the correct answer. So please, sorry, apologies for not putting equal to, which I think what I want you guys to understand is just the binomial expansion part. They said the ratio of the two coefficients is equals to 3 over 1, which I have to have set equals to. So the next question will be what we are going to face now, which is our question 10. So we are almost getting over to the end of the stuff. So it is our question 11 now. Let's see how it's. The question says, using the same axis, that means you have to use the same point. Sketch the curve of y is equals to, wow, 6 minus x squared, and the curve of y is equals to 3x squared minus 2x plus 3. So far we are sketching this curve. We have to follow instructions. So teachers should please endeavor, because like I said, it's a teacher guide video, should endeavor to teach students on how to sketch a parabola or quadratic equation curve. It is very important. Most of the students find it difficult to sketch such curve. And the only way you can do that very quickly is to make sure you help them understanding writing the equation in vertex form. I think that is the best way for them to plot the curve. Apologies, guys. I think there's an error in transmission. So I think we are back. Fine. So doing the curve, the major thing you can also talk about is we've talked about that on that question. I think question 2. This is question 11. So we've learned a lot. Quadratic curve is ax squared plus bx plus c. You should follow the line of the question, because if you don't plot the curve, Waec will not give you further math. So, and these are one of the most important questions you have to keep at the back of your mind. So, having said that, let's try and plot the curve. Even though it is a teacher's guide video, not for teacher can actually explain to students how to plot the curve. But the important thing I want to just say here, while writing ABC, you can see S squared, the coefficient is negative. There are two types of curve. We talked about the U curve and the inverted U curve, which I hope you have studied in your junior classes. I believe so. So because we can have, this one is not even giving me the type of U I want, but I just want you guys to see what I'm talking about. Maybe I can still see what is better than that. I don't know why it's not giving me what I want. But I used to believe this thing should give me what I want. Well, several might be the case. So I just want to explain some stuff, not to waste your time. It's a teacher guide video. So this shows for the value of A to be positive. But in this first curve, if you watch where A is not positive, so it should be the reverse, which is the inverted stuff, something like that. I just don't want to waste my time. So this is how we draw A is negative. So teachers should please guide their student on how to plot quadratic curve. I'm not going to be wasting time on that. But for those of you who know how to write quadratic equation in factors form, there is a formula. The formula we use is y equals to a open bracket x minus h all square plus k. I am not into that now, where h and k are the curve, the point of the minimum and maximum respectively. But that is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to plot the graph, just to sketch the graph, not to plot. Please understand that language as well. It's also important. So let's sketch it out for understanding sake. We can use this side. Let's use our normal cross and use the same scale. It's important to use the same scale it was given. So this is it. So if I can get the vertices of this first one, which is very easy for me to get, I can say h equals to some simple formula, negative b over 2h. Shorty cut. You don't need to waste your time. What is b here? This is a is minus 1. You can rewrite it. B is also minus 1. You can see minus the coefficient of x is b. From what we have written here, negative 1, negative are positive over 2 times. This is negative 1 over 2. You can see because this guy is minus 1. So that is why the vertex of this guy will be at y-axis at x point over, y-axis, x point is minus 1 over 2. Then y-axis, I'm going to substitute this minus 1 over 2 into this curve. So if I do that, let's do that together, please. Y will be equals to, this is not what I'm here to solve anyway. 6 minus, I'm substituting minus 1 over 2 here. That will be plus 1 over 2. Then minus 1 over 4. You can do it, dear student. So you get the value of your y point. You get the point in which the y-axis will lie on. That is the essence. Everybody know 1 over 2 minus 1 over 4 is very simple. To solve LCM is 4. You can do it with your brain. So it is not you wait for me to solve or wait for your teachers to solve questions. So this is just saying 2 minus 1. That is 1 over 2. LCM is 4. 2 has 2 minus 1. That is 1 over 4. So 6 plus 1 over 4. That's 6 whole number 1 over 4. So 6 whole number 1 over 4 is like saying 25 over 4. I'm just doing it directly. So at the point of 25 over 4, you can punch calculator. It is allowed in Waec. 25 over 4, just to know the exact point, 6.25. So around this point is where this curve, because it's having negative a, is going to bend. Should I draw diagram to scale or just for you guys to visualize? So I don't even know why this guy is just drawing rubbish from me now. I don't know. I'm going to do it the way I want it. I'm just trying to show some stuff. No problem, no problem. I can still do stuff for like 31 hours. So just hold on. So we can continue from here. So the first curve is going to be like this. Whereas the second curve is positive a. I don't want to waste time because I still have other question, which is the most hard to solve. That one is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to smile. I told you why we are going for smiling and the other house. So that one is going to be something like this. So my point is the two curves are going to meet at, they are going to intersect somewhere. So you have to draw. You do the same thing that I have done for the first one. You do it for the second one too. You get the value of the y-axis. Use h is equals to minus b over 2a. b is minus minus, that's minus 2. That's 2 over 2, 2 over 3. So that's 2 over 3. 2 over 3 is 0 point something. That one will be, you know what I meant, will be very close to on this side. So that is how to know. So their point of intersection will give you the point so you can shade. And that is what this question is all about. So teachers should focus more on integration part of area under curve. That is the most important thing I want teachers to discuss. But this is what we are trying to explain in this simple video. So basically, without wasting time, now let's just finish it. So we are now to use the point of intersection, find the x-coordinate of the point of intersection between the curve and calculate the area of the finite region bounded by the two curves. These are the two curves. This is the curve. You can label your curve. This is the curve, excuse me, of 6 minus x squared. And the smiling curve is the curve of 3x squared minus 2x plus 3. So I hope you understand, dear student. So fine, we are looking for the x-coordinate. So the x-coordinate, now we can start with the solution. And that's what I was saying, that the question is basically on solution of stuff, not what we are doing, because we still have some stuff to talk about. So to get the x-coordinate, that means the points are going to meet at a point. So the points where they are equal to each other. So just set the equation equal. So I start with the solution to the question. So the first one is just to sketch the curve. So y is equals to, I set the two equation equals 6 minus x squared. You equate it to, the second equation is 3x squared minus 2x plus 3. So on simplification, you can do this, follow my lead. It's always simple. When this guy come here, to be 4x squared. I hope you can follow it. This is negative 2x plus x. That is negative x. 3 minus 6 and minus 3 is equals to 0. On factorization, this should be 4x plus 3. Then x minus 1. Yes, is equals to 0. So this is x equals to negative 3 over 4. Or we've done this, x is equals to 1. These are the 2 points where these two curves are going to meet. And that is the answer for the first part of the question. So teachers should concentrate on factorization, like I said in other examples. They should also look into using such quadratic equation to plot a curve in terms of writing it in vertices form and understanding the values of the importance of the A, B, and C on the quadratic function. So I've said that the C part of the question is now the last part, which says area within curve. Within curve, students should know that it is integration. We use the knowledge of integration to find area within curve. Area within curve is given as integrand of y dx or x dy. But most teachers should focus on y dx because almost 90 to 95% of questions from Waec further maths are going to be in terms of y. They don't make x subject formula. So y ds is always the area, whereby the volume, I don't think further maths SSC will ask you of volume of or area of volume of solid revolution. That is beyond the scope of your syllabus. So you do estimation by trapezoidal rule and Simpson rules, which we are still going to talk about in the video. But for now, let us limit it to what's the question. So this is YDS. The function is two functions. You can see it's two quadratic functions. So we subtract the two functions from each other minus one. But remember, the limit is what you have calculated and the first question on the x-coordinate. So the s value, you are taking the limit from lower limit to the upper limit. I hope students know 1 is greater than negative 3 over 4. So 1 will be higher, 1 will be higher ordinate, then this will be negative 3 by 4 of the function. There are two quadratic curves. You should always know that the big curve will be the one that has this guy. So you have to subtract. So the area of the coordinates, teacher should focus on this place because there is no point not to talk about this because it's going to come out. Then we are taking limit from negative 3 by 4 to 1 of the difference between the integral of 6 minus x squared, the first curve, dx, if you like, minus, I'm doing it directly. The second curve is 3x squared minus 2x plus 3. I know for further math students, many of our teachers have actually helped us to understand the basics of how to do a deeper integration directly without wasting time. So this one, you do that. So you have to integrate. I hope students know that this one will be 6x. This will be x squared by 3. This is x cubed by 3. This is x cubed minus 2x squared by 3 by minus x squared plus 3x. Then you take limit when x is minus 3 to s. So if you do this well, like I told you, it's a teacher's guide video. So teachers will take it from there. Students can also take it from there. You are going to get nothing but this is the way you are supposed to solve it. So do that, and the answer you are going to get is a true number. I've actually, like I told you, all these are just for you to know where you are going. This has been done by me in one way or the other. That is why I can tell you the answer. Do you understand? Because I have done them and I've solved them in classes and offline videos. So I'm only doing this as a teacher's guide for everybody. So I think true number 99 over, no, not true, three whole number 55 over 96. I have put my answer in what? In mixed fraction. You can decide to put it in improper fraction. It's still the same. I hope teachers can take it up from there, and no teacher can take it up. Not that I hope. I hope students will get it from here. That is the most important thing. So please try and make it simple, demystify this, and they should be able to go from there. So the next should be question 12. So the next is question 12. We are almost there. I think this is the last for this first section of our the further maths full course revision. The other part will be the probability part and the estimation of the statistics and the mechanisms. That is what that one will focus more. This is more on the pure mathematics and a little bit of further in our first 11 or 12 set of questions. So about this, we have the integration, which is there is no going area. Teachers need to do a quick revision for their students on integration. Integration in terms of partial fraction is going to come out this time around. I think it is always a 4-year gap. So partial fraction is coming out this time around. Teachers should try as much as possible to focus on that as well. The integration by use substitution, which is what I am seeing here. We can go by the solution directly. I don't think this should give further math student problem if you have stayed in class and follow the lead of your teacher. So the integral first sign here is that we are taking limit as well from 1 to 2. The integrand function is x over the square root of 5 minus x squared years. So like we have always said, this is the use substitution. Teachers should try and demystify the use substitution and how do we know it is use substitution. The simple manner or the simple way to get that is that when you have a kind of large variable as the denominator, you always want to make or reduce it. And how do you reduce it? By bringing something that will consume the numerator. Basic. So teachers should simplify this for students and let them understand the concept of what of this. So in sequence, we can say, thank you very much. Yeah. Now in sequence, we can now say here, so far we want to consume the numerator, so we bring u as the denominator. I will do that just as a simple form here. U is equals to what is under here is 5 minus x squared. I also then remember that is when you do use substitution, you are going to introduce yourself to what integration by differentiation. Students should understand that well. If you attend your classes, I know you have done a lot of questions and example on this. So while u with respect to s is called the u by dx, and this when you introduce what differentiate a constant, we've talked about that, it's going to chop up, and that is this is negative 2x. I hope students get that. I have only differentiated that. So I will substitute it back to this guy so that it will consume it. Watch the way it will consume. So I'm having limit of differentiation. In fact, this is dx. Many times we make dx of the formula so that it will be spotted on. Dx, now if I cross multiply, which I believe you all can do, let me change to a clean. We are going to have ds is equals to negative 1 over 2. If you don't know what we are talking about, if du over ds is equals to, you can say du equals to 2s, so ds is equals to du over, you say negative du over 2x. I hope you understand that. Or you say 1 over 2, if you want to write it, 1 minus 1 over 2 du over 2x du. Anyhow you write that. So that is the essence of doing these stuff. Then you now bring it back here. Excuse me. Now, bringing it back here, you have x over the remaining thing that you want to consume. You know, there's a root under this guy. So you have made this one to be u. Remember, this guy is root u now because u was what you want to consume. You use u to be equals to this. Then dx now, you were able to make that sort of formula here, which I love you to write as times. You can see this guy has dx. I think green is too thick. Maybe we go for a green or a lighter one. So this is our ds now is now equals to negative 1 over 2x. Because this guy is x. This is now du. Now let's do some cancelling out as usual. S gets cancelled out. I hope students understand that. Negative 1 over 2 is a constant. I am taking limit from 1 to 2. I never forget. So I'm not supposed to be doing this. I should leave it for teacher to complete it. But for understanding sake, now you can see that nothing is up here but 1. I have integration of, let me just write it in a layman way. Limit from 1 to 2. Up here is 1 over, everybody knows, square root of u is u raised to power 1 by 2. I hope you understand. This is the limit of what I'm taking. We have by negative 1 over 2 here is a constant, which will be outside the integral form. I hope students understand that's du. So that's the only thing I think this is all about the A type. It is finished. Then the rest is just solving and getting the right answer. So how do you solve? You know, negative 1 over 2 is outside. So you can even change what before you integrate. 1, 2 is the limit. 1 over something, 1 over a is a raised to power minus 1. So 1 over u raised to power half is u raised to power negative 1 by 2. So that's that. So you can easily integrate. So therefore, I'm going to, because I still have B and C parts, which I'm not going to finish, you know. I'll leave you guys to finish up and your teacher to guide you on how to finish the rest. But finishing this one directly, I can say negative 1 by 2 is outside the stuff. Apologies about that. So negative 1 by 2 is outside. This is negative 1 by 2. Now let's integrate u raised to power minus half. You know we had 1 to the power, stuff like that. So that is minus half plus 1 is u. Plus minus half plus 1 is half. Raised to power half. I hope you understand that. Over, you know, this is outside. Over, I'm integrating. This is outside, this is bracket. So just hold that over 1 plus half minus half plus half, and minus half plus 1 is half. So I have done that. And don't forget the limit of what you are taking is from 1 to 2. So it's simple to do now. This is u raised to power half over divided by. So you can multiply this by half. Half can cancel half. This is minus u raised to power 2, taking limit from 1 to 2. Final answer, if you do it well, higher limit minus lower limit. The answer, you can always take it back that u is equals to, don't forget, u is equals to, what was u? U is equals to 5 minus x squared. So you can just put it at 5 minus x squared. So that is what you are supposed to do, raised to power half, then substitute the value. If you do that way, the answer to this guy will be equals to 1, because I have done it before. And I'm very, very sure about that. Remember, this is from here. I know you can take it up because everybody can integrate s raised to power minus half. Add 1 to it, divide it by the sum of what you have at the upstairs. Then substitute the limit here. So it's a definite integral form. That is why we have limit. So that's the answer to that one. The B part, I have to manage this board. The board, I don't want to shift anything upward. So the B part of the question is, I think, yeah, right. The B part is something I believe many teachers in your pure math, in your math also, you have studied this. And many teachers will have actually explained how to get the determinant of this, because this is one of the most important things that almost all other math students should be able to do. I believe you should be able to do. So you should be able to do this. Any method you are using, Waec, we accept it. So, but I think the most common method among most of the teachers are the direct method, which is the plus minus plus stuff. But the other method, which some of you, in which you are used to the one of where we cancel with arrow, that is also acceptable or accepted by Waec. So, like I'm saying, you are free to use anything. Just make sure you use the one you know how to use best. So, sorry about my brackets. So you can go with plus, minus, plus, you know that, which is the common one among. I'm going for that because I think that one is common in secondary school. schools. So you can do that on your own and get your answer. Remember, -2 will take the time. I'm not going to solve this. That is me for you. 1, -2, 2, -3. You know that minus times minus is why I'm writing plus here. 3 is going to take the fact of you have 0, 1, and I think this is common among secondary school. Like I do say, 0, 1, -2, 3. So we have -2, 3. And the third one is the last value here. This plus 1. I'm going to manage this side. That is 1, 1. That is 0, 1, 1, 2. So you take it from there. Students should be able to finish this. If you don't attend your matrices class, go and meet your teacher to quickly explain, or your friend to explain this. If you go by this, the answer you are going to get here, not mistaken, should be equals to 7. Please, you can confirm that that is the answer to this. So 7 is the correct answer for that. So, and if 7 is the correct answer for that, you are true with this, you are true with this. So we used our answer to this. So using your answer in B1, solve the simultaneous equation, 2x, whatever. So let's use that. The last one, 2, come on, figure 2. Yes, now about this, using the answer, we have just to make sure we know what we are doing. I don't think there's any big thing in this one. So what we just need to understand, we focus on the coefficient, arrange it well. So I think this is coefficient of x. Let's focus on s2. This one has no coefficient. That means it is 0. I hope you understand that. And this one is 1 because we are doing matrix form. This is -3. I'm focusing on y now. 1. I'm only writing coefficients, dear student. So teachers should also endeavor to teach students. I don't think Cramer's rule is important like that, but how to use simultaneous equation, solve it by matrices form is very important. Then this is the last one is 1, -2, and -3. So everything here, because we are using this guy, we multiply by x, y, z. Look at my hand. Wouldn't know. X, y, and z must be equals to, what is this? This is 10, -7, and -3. So this is what the examiner wants you to do. So to get data S, data Y, and data Z, you do it one by one. If you want to get data S, you remove X from this guy. You have to remove X from this guy, and you substitute this guy for this to get the answer. This is what I'm saying. If I want to get data X, so that means the X position of this coordinate or these matrices will be removed. Then I put this guy there. So it will be 10 minus 7. I am not going to do determinant for you. I am sorry. I only tell you the answer. Then you write the rest the way to it. -3, 1, 2, then 1, -2. Please, teacher, do you help your student to understand the concept of determinant? So that is, you get determinants of this using the plus, minus, plus, just like what we did. If you did this well, I'm very positive we are going to have 14. So that is delta x. Then to get x now, x will now be equals to delta x over the determinants of the matrix itself, which is 7. So over 7. So what is delta s? 14 over 7. And that is true. That is what Waec wants you to do with this method. So if you want to get delta y, that means in the y position of this guy, you are going to put this. So you're right. You can see it's a simple stuff. 2, 0, 1. So this is the y position. I'm going to substitute this. 10, -7, and -9. And the last guy is 1, -2, and -3. So you go for the determinant of this guy. So if you go with a plus, minus, plus, you should get -2. I guess. I'm not sure about this one. You should get, okay, -7. Yes, I'm sure now. -7. So will be determinant of this if you solve. And if you do that, then you can say your y will now be equals to the data x over the data, which is the determinant. You can say data, which is the determinant of what you have calculated. So you can say this is now equals to -7 over 7, and that is -1. So in sequence, you continue, you get the value of z. How will you do that? And I think somebody is talking. Yes, perfect. So just substitute that the z part, then find the determinant. It will be that answer divided by 7. So I hope students are okay with the way I have actually tried as much as possible to demystify the first section of our further maths focus. Because of the length of the video section, we will have actually make these 10 to 15 hours, but we are looking at for how long our student going to sit down for 10 hours and watch the video in one shot. So we want to make it two shots. The other shot, we focus mainly on the other aspect, which is the aspect of the vector analysis, the probability, and the statistics. So I will see you guys soon. Tell a friend about the channel. And if you found anything interesting, like I do say, consider subscribing. Bye for now.